So I'm going to continue reading this fascism book by Madeleine Albright, of course, but I never looked at this flap talking about who she is and what her relation to things are, and seeing this, it doesn't say anything necessarily, but yeah, after seeing this, I was a little worried.
May need to be brought out on a stretcher after this one. I might bleed out through my eyeballs as we watch this. Here is George W. Bush.
Same here, Kyle.
This thing called Masterclass, and we've covered some of these before. I don't know if we may have covered the Bill Clinton one or the Hillary Clinton one. This goofy thing called Masterclass is like, you can learn from the most elite of the elite people in the world about various issues where they're experts. It's a very, fake, highbrow, garbage thing here. And, this one is, I shit you not, Tough Calls and Life Lessons with President George W. Bush.
Honestly, who honestly cares to listen to George Bush unless they already like him? This is just purely for them. It has to be. There's no new person being brought into George Bush unless they're utilizing young men in the manosphere to, somehow bring them into him. But people like Jordan Peterson and older types like that, you're not saying anything new to them. They're still they're still holding your hand yeah, sure. I have no idea.
He is doing a masterclass on leadership. Okay, all right, let's go. Let's see what we got.
The chief executive has got to be bold within reason and daring in application. I recognize...
What does that even mean?
Yep, daring to bring us into a 20-year war just so we can blame it on someone else, when they get us out of it. There probably wasn't a good way to get us out of that anyways, so... It was a good tactic for him, He knew the blame would probably be shifted somewhere else.
Bold within reason and daring with application or without application.
Bold at dodging war crimes.
What does that mean? Vague platitudes. He's bringing back the politics of the early 2000s here. That's what this is. Nothing concrete. Just fill the air with noise and move on and hope nobody realizes that you're a fraud.
Very few people watching this will become president, but I think you'll find lessons in leadership that will apply to your life.
Look at that. Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, George W. Bush, Laura Bush, and Madeleine Albright.
Dude.
Those of you who are listening
now this is
Spotify or whatever podcast app, which by the way, the show's of it.
This really freaked me out. Seeing Madeleine Albright side by side with goddamn George Bush. Oh my god.
All the various podcast apps now, if you guys prefer listening just the audio versus, the YouTube clips. But anyway, for people who are just listening on screen right now, it's a cadre of war criminals. That's what it is. It's just it's a mess. God, I think I've pinpointed exactly what it is I hate about these things.
I never would have thought Madeleine Albright was a war criminal, but then again, maybe there's some tendencies and behavior like that behind some of her writing, I guess, because she was seemingly lefty blaming for why fascists come out of the woodwork sometimes, but maybe that's me projecting. I've only read a few pages, but so far I get change. People want really crazy change, and that just pisses people off. Oh, this is why it happens. Come on, guys, stop having change.
It sort of presupposes, it assumes that meritocracy is already true. We already have a meritocracy, and these...
Oh, this is irrelevant, but it reminds me of, some Democrats, like Nancy Pelosi and people like that being oh, let's not focus on abortion, guys. It makes the party look bad. Like, let's stop focusing on getting screwed by our jobs. Come on, lefties, come on. It just makes us look bad. And look at the fascist over there. This is your fault. I feel like that's what she was saying.
Who sort of made it to the top are there because they're just the most intelligent, the most genius, the most bright, the most strategic, you know, and that is just it. You guys know we live in more of an anti-meritocracy than we do a meritocracy.
Yeah.
People fail up all the time, and people bust their ass and work hard and go all the way to the bottom, oftentimes. So that's what gets under my skin here. And you know these people think their shit doesn't stink. You know they feel that way.
As president, sometimes I had information the American people didn't know, and therefore had to make decisions what was best for the country on knowledge that wasn't evident.
That's such a Weasley way of trying to cover his ass for all of his terrible decisions. I mean, look, I know it looked terrible to you guys, but you just didn't have access to all the information, bro. I had all the access to all the information, and so I know that
This is so true. Just telling us a total cop-out. Again, this is just for his supporters. Like, because he knows that they know that they weren't there, and, you know, it's true. Like, he does have inside information about stuff, so he's using this cold logic just to be, like, you know, omitting so much bullshit. Yeah.
all the right decisions and stuff. Oh, come on, man. Oh, this is painful. How did they release this unironically? How did they release this?
That's just the nature of leadership. So long
Yeah.
as you're guided by principle, and so long as you're guided by a cause greater than self, you can endure criticism because it's going to come. One of the
Ah,
Oh,
gross.
look, I know you guys hate me, but it's only because I'm so principled.
All
I
right,
was
see
just
ya.
so